Well, good morning, everybody. This is DearMamaSal on a beautiful, well, not so beautiful. If you look at the clouds, not so beautiful. Wednesday morning. It's 12 degrees here in southern British Columbia, which would make it 54 in American. It is cloudy, almost stormy looking. And so you're wondering, where's your raincoat, Sal? Don't need my raincoat. I've got Carly's umbrella. Stella the umbrella is hiding in my purse. And you're saying, I'm sure, I hope it's not a thunderstorm. If there's a thunderstorm, I will get wet. Quite simple. I can do it. Just water it. It's like having an outdoor shower. It's all in how you think about it. Now, I always find that having the outdoor shower on the way from work is a lot more preferable than going to work, because you have no idea what happens to my hair when it gets wet. Some of you relate to that, I'm sure. I'm going to try and take it easy today. The reason is I have just had an email from somebody. Let me try and give you the basis of this, and then you'll understand. Somebody wanted to do something that would affect us both, gave me a quote on what it would cost to do it. I accepted the quote along with pictures of roughly what it would look like, and got a quote, which I thought was absolutely ridiculously cheap, but I got a written quote in an email. And so I wrote back and said, well, if you are saying that this can be done with this, 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 and this, as you have stated in your letter, for this amount of contribution from me, I say absolutely go ahead. Now, this morning I get an email to say that that original figure has just gone up 300%. And now they want to know how much I'm going to contribute. Now, I don't know if any of you are business people and rolling your eyes, but I'm going, excuse me, you gave me a written quote with pictures. I reconfirmed it and said, if the following is true, then go ahead. And now you want to up the price by 300%. And now you're asking me to come up with 3 times as much money for my share of it. Now, there are 2 schools of thoughts on this. Some of you are going, go whistle Dixie, see if I care, you spent the money, you pay for it. Others are going, she put it in writing. Duh. So legally, quite honestly, legally, I know I don't have to pay anymore. What she decided to do over and above what she said she was going to do is her business, not mine. And I understand that legally I can stand on that. But then I've been around contractors enough to know that it's a game they play. This is how much they tell you it's going to cost, and then halfway through they suddenly tell you it's going to cost more, because they're already halfway through the job and you're already committed. So I mean, I've been there. I've had it happen to me, so I know. So there's that part of me that goes, in the meantime, the job looks beautiful on her side. and looks like shit on mine. Oh no, not quite. But let's say her side looks beautiful and my side of this thing looks totally unfinished. And basically now I'm in a position where to get this up to the quality that I was shown at the beginning, I've got to pay that much more money. Now I am going to check it legally, but legally what she quoted me with a picture is what I bought. So even though it's not a written contract, it is actually a written contract in as much as I confirmed it. And I actually luckily used the words, "and will it look the same on both sides?" And she wrote back and said, yes, it will look the same. So there's part of me that goes, she really doesn't have a leg to stand on legally. So as you can tell, I'm breathing very deeply because I really don't want to cause a big scene here. I obviously had not budgeted for this thing to start with, never mind it being 300% more than she originally quoted. And I know that a lot of you are saying, so don't pay it. And I understand that. I've just got to calm down a bit because obviously that really has thrown me a curveball. Now, how much I let it affect my day is up to me, agreed? And that's why I'm trying to breathe very calmly and also just try and verbalize it right now with you guys to get it out of the cauldron. I think I'd have to say it's in a cauldron at the moment. It's boiling away. No, it's not. It's actually not boiling away quite as much as it was an hour ago when I read that email. Now I'm just sort of going, I need to make a decision for me, and I need to make that decision in my own time because I know legally I stand on solid ground, or I'm pretty sure. I will check that out today. But you know, sometimes being right isn't the right answer. And so there's part of me that goes, maybe a compromise is the right answer. In other words, I understand legally you know, you gave me a quote, I accepted the quote. I confirmed the quote with you, and you confirmed it back again. Therefore, legally, I am only due to pay the first amount. The fact that you changed the game without consulting me and spent 3 times as much money is not my issue. In this occasion, I choose to come up with a compromise, and I will pay you this much more, on the understanding that that is all I'm going to pay. And I will only pay it once I've had copies of the various invoices against which you obviously paid. The question is, how much am I going to let anger rule the day? I don't think so. I'm trying to have a lot of compassion. I'm trying to imagine how, what if this was a total mistake? Which I don't believe it was. But let's say it was a partial mistake. That's pretty embarrassing to have to write and tell me that, right? Especially when you have insulted me a couple of times already. Stood on your high horse a couple of times about what a great negotiator you are. So to me, this is about letting it go. When I say letting it go, let it, I'm going to get the right answer or get a couple of options of answers. As I said, sometimes being right isn't the right answer. I just need to sort of feel comfortable about, if this situation were reversed and I got caught with 3 times the bill that I was expecting, what would I hope would be the price? You know, what do I hope the other person would do? I think somewhere, as I said, there's a compromise. And so now my job is to not let it fester. It is what it is. I get to choose what I want to do. And I may have the right to choose to do nothing. I'm obviously not leaning that way. I'm leaning to go on the compromise route, and I just want to make sure that I don't want to set a precedent. And I want to make sure this doesn't happen again. I really feel the whole of this thing was like a steamroller thing. It was steamrolled to a large extent, but I'm responsible for that. I take full responsibility for allowing myself to get steamrolled. To a certain extent, I did actually put my foot down at one point, but even so, this was done. You're pretty sure this was already arranged before she ever discussed it with me. So, here is the thing. The reason I'm talking about it is that it could happen to you. And as I said, sometimes being right isn't the right answer. So, it's certainly not worth taking to court. It's certainly not worth fighting legally, because the amount of money involved is just doesn't warrant it. But on the other hand, you know, you've got to look at it and say, do I want to set a precedent? Do I want to actually say, look, I'm going to presume something went wrong here and you didn't discuss it with me. You just went ahead. And for that reason, I'm not going to pay as much as you'd like me to, because I don't want to encourage you to do this again. Which I got a feeling is going to happen. So try and remember that if you can, that sometimes being right isn't the right answer. And I cannot tell you how many battles I fought to try and prove that I was right, and I was. But you know something, I didn't end up winning. I wonder if any of you have had those sort of battles where, yes, intellectually I was correct. When I say intellectually, but even in some cases legally I was correct. But seriously, did I end up winning? No. And then your ego gets involved, right? Which is, I don't want to be seen as a weak person, or I don't want to be seen as somebody who is easily manipulated, or whatever it is that the ego is having a fight with. So I guess it's that wisdom that I want to pass on, that sometimes just being right isn't enough. You've got to think about what price are you going to pay for being right. I mean, I can just say, hey, I've got it all in writing, I've got pictures to prove it. If you want to fight this, be my guest. But that's not really what it's about. I'd like to come up with a win-win in some way if I can, without showing weakness, which is why I need to explain that legally I don't have to pay another cent. We had a contract, I can keep to my side of the contract. The fact that she changed the contract without consultation is... Now, you're saying, but it's not a written contract. It actually doesn't have to be a written contract. Well, it is a written contract in as much as that she emailed and I confirmed. So, anyway, long story on a small issue, I guess, but it's an important one. It's an important one to have a look at. And You know, maybe some of you are feeling quite angry right now. You're going, but Sal, you need to do this, 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 and this. And feel free to vent. Let's see who thinks which side of this one. And then I would ask you, you know, if you were the other person, you know, what would you want to have happen? For me to stand by it legally, I'd have to believe that she intentionally did this. I would like not to believe that. My choice. Being right isn't always the right choice. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that in your dealings with people today that you try and find compromise where you can. But more importantly, if you do, which is going to be my struggle, if you do find compromise, try and do it gracefully. That is the trick. This is Dear Mama Sal, slightly amused at her own vulnerabilities and idiosyncrasies and everything else. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye for now.